Okay, so what happens when you mix uh, the incredible energy of Black culture with really cutting-edge tech and just boundless imagination?
You get something pretty electric.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're exploring today. We are diving deep into the Afrofuturism Experience YouTube channel. Think of it as your like rapid download into this whole universe that's just exploding with new sounds, amazing visuals, and ideas that'll make you think.
Totally. And our mission here for this deep dive, it's really to get past just, describing what's on the channel. We want to figure out what it tells us about Afrofuturism right now.
Where the pulse is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've spent time with their videos, their playlists, how they present, everything really to bring you the core insights.
And just quickly, for anyone listening who's maybe a bit newer to Afrofuturism fundamentally, it's this powerful movement, right? Looking at Black history, Black culture, but through this lens of sci-fi, fantasy, technology.
Yeah. Reimagining things.
And this channel, the Afrofuturism Experience, they specifically talk about Afrofuturism 3.0. So consider this your kind of express lane to understanding this really dynamic, evolving cultural scene. Okay,
Yeah.
let's get into it. What first grabbed you about the content?
Well, the first thing is just the sheer range. It's remarkable.
Mm,
It isn't just one thing. It's genuinely multimedia.
yeah.
And music. Music really stands out, which makes sense given its history within Afrofuturism. It's always been a huge channel for, well, innovation and expression.
Oh, absolutely. You see that hashtag everywhere, hashtag Afrofuturism music. And the examples they pull out, they're instantly grabbing. Like Legacy of Kings, Musa versus Musk.
Right.
I mean, that's a collision of worlds right there. Just
Yeah.
grabs your attention. Pitting, historical figures against modern icons.
It makes you curious.
It does. Then you've got stuff like AF3 Imhotep Papyrus exclusive Marley digital mix, full album. You can almost feel that blend, can't you? Reggae roots meeting these like super modern digital sounds.
And what's so interesting there isn't just the sound itself, but what that represents in Afrofuturism. Taking heritage, weaving it into the future.
Yeah.
And music is such a potent way to do that sonically. And then something like Afro House Techno 2025 Mix 3, that just confirms they're really pushing boundaries, exploring what Black music could sound like next.
That whole soundscape.
Right.
Really innovative.
Definitely.
But it's not just the audio, right?
Yeah.
The visuals are just as striking. Their coverage of the Afrofuturism fashion show, that's a perfect example.
Oh, yeah.
They talk about this amazing mix of metallics, African prints, and high-tech design inspired by ancestral roots. I mean, that phrase alone almost sums it up.
It really does. It's Afrofuturism in action, visually.
Yeah.
And the fashion show isn't just, models walking in clothes. It's visual storytelling.
Right.
When you hear about Cosmic Couture or even the playful Afro-space Barbie and Ken ensembles, you get a sense of the imagination at play.
It makes the ideas tangible.
Exactly. The clothes give form to these concepts.
And it's not just the clothes themselves, is it? They call the models bold ambassadors. That elevates the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they mention integrating empowering messages and immersive digital art projected during the show. It sounds like this really full, multi-sensory experience.
It totally underscores that Afrofuturism isn't just one art form. It's about creating this whole immersive world.
Yeah.
Which actually leads nicely into their digital art fest. Again, they're talking about digital brilliance and those empowering messages.
It really seems like they're leaning into the digital side of things.
Yeah.
Projecting immersive digital art,
Hmm.
especially combined with the fashion. Must be pretty powerful.
Oh, for sure.
And the fact they mention NFTs shows they're right there with current digital art trends.
Absolutely. It shows they're not afraid to engage with new tech, figure out how it fits into an Afrofuturist context. But for me, one of the most thought-provoking things they have is that playlist. The
Yeah.
Afrofuturism Experience TV AI-generated news by Afrofuturism AI Engine.
Okay, wow. AI-generated news, but specifically through an Afrofuturist filter. What does that even imply?
Well, that's a huge point, isn't it? About how information flows, how
Yeah.
narratives get built.
Right.
Using AI to generate news within this specific cultural framework, that's genuinely innovative. It really makes you think about who shapes the stories of the future and how tech can be a tool for, reimagining those stories.
It's almost like they're pre-writing the future's headlines, in a way.
Sort of, yeah.
And beyond that, they also have short films, which you'd guess explore Afrofuturist themes narratively, and the channel description mentions podcasts. We didn't see specific examples in front of us, but
Right, but the potential is there. Podcasts could be a really key space for deeper dives, right? More complex ideas, bringing in more voices from the community beyond just the visual clip.
a discussion.
Exactly. And when you look at the sheer variety of art they touch on, music, fashion, digital art, AI film, it really signals they're committed to showing a broad spectrum of creativity.
Now, you mentioned earlier this term they keep using, Afrofuturism 3.0. What do you think that signals? How is it maybe different from, say, earlier waves of Afrofuturism?
That's a great question. I think looking at the context, Afrofuturism 3.0 probably puts a really strong emphasis on digital tech and maybe the perspectives of a newer generation.
Okay.
If you think back to like the foundational work, Sunrise Music, Octavia Butler's incredible novels, they were exploring similar core themes, obviously. Black identity, history, imagining futures.
For sure. The cosmic jazz, the visionary thing.
Exactly. And this channel, Afrofuturism Experience, they're clearly building on all that. Reclaiming history, liberated futures, black creativity, those threads are strong. But the 3.0 part, that seems to be about the very deliberate use of digital platforms, AI, NFTs, tools that just weren't available in the same way before.
Right. The tech landscape has shifted massively.
Precisely. It's that active engagement with today's digital tools, using them in new ways, that likely defines this 3.0 idea for them.
So the core ideas persist, but the tools and the delivery mechanisms have evolved.
Makes sense. What about community? Do they seem to be trying to build one? They ask people to subscribe, comment?
Yeah, that's definitely there. Those direct calls to action, subscribe, comment are clear attempts to foster a community around this stuff. And even though we don't have the podcast specifics, just mentioning it suggests they want that dialogue, that exchange of ideas. Plus, by covering so many different art forms, they naturally bring together different kinds of creators and audiences.
So pulling it all together, this channel, Afrofuturism Experience, it really feels like a vibrant hub online.
It really does. It's a compelling portal showing off this powerful mix of Black culture, tech, and just pure imagination.
Yeah.
The diversity of the content alone, music, fashion, art, AI news, it says a lot about how multifaceted Afrofuturism is today. And calling it Afrofuturism 3.0 really highlights how it's continuing to evolve, especially in the digital space. So for you, the listener, if Afrofuturism has caught your interest, but maybe you weren't sure where to start, this channel seems like a really solid, accessible way in to understand what's happening now.
Absolutely. It's a rich way to just immerse yourself in this really dynamic cultural aesthetic.
Okay, so here's something to chew on as we wrap up. How might this growing integration of AI, of digital art, within Afrofuturism, how might that continue to change how we think about identity, about future possibilities?
Good question.
And maybe think about how engaging with platforms like this one actually broadens our own view of how culture evolves, especially now in our super digital world. Definitely food for thought.